I mean, Michael, you kind of tried to corner me yesterday. At the risk of sounding like a hater, I get that it's Tom Brady. I get that he's the greatest player of all time, greatest quarterback of all time. I beg your pardon. I get that he's the most famous football player on the planet, American football player on the planet. I get, you pay to be in business with him. And like I said, you're worth whatever somebody's willing to pay you. But, like, whose commentary is worth $375 million? Which I get, that's why, like, Fox is pushing back, like, wait a second. It ain't 375 just for him to be in the booth. It's probably more like 20 to 25, which is in line with the market value. The rest is from production and film and documentary and content or whatever. That makes a whole lot more sense, Steve Wyche from NFL Network. Because I was thinking to myself, Steve, I'm like, what's he gonna do? Predict the plays before they happen? Is he gonna tell us the plays before they? I mean, what can Tom Brady realistically do in the booth that ain't been done? Anyway, I'm wondering, Steve.
Well, first off, if he did, will we still watch or not watch? No, we're watching a game.
Thank you. Thank you. So, that's what I was saying. So what's been, I guess you take it where you want to go, but what has been the response, the shockwaves? What's been the reaction through your NFL network, no pun intended, through your sources around the league that you've talked to since news broke of this post-retirement broadcasting deal with Fox Sports?
Well, look, I mean, I'll say this, like some of the educated conversations, very much like what you just said. There's no way this is just for broadcasting games. Maybe he's got a deal where he's producing content or he's delivering content. Some Tom Brady exclusive stuff.
Some ambassador role.
Correct, like some Manning to Manning type stuff. Like, hey, I can do some stuff where, I can have certain types of football camps, or I can have some types of other type of programming, or I can bring these people to you. So, whatever he's getting paid for being on air is one thing, but some of the other revenue-generating content that he could bring to Fox is probably part of the other deal if that number is what it is. And usually when you see this, those numbers are pretty true.
You know what? I'll tell you something else to throw out there, and don't dismiss this. This is not out of the realm. So we talk about commentary for Tom Brady. We know that's part of the deal. He's a content creator. That's part of the deal. You know what also could be part of it? Tom Brady as a commissioner, perhaps. You think about how the USFL, there's a Fox NBC component to the USFL. He may have a role in that league too. So
league. Okay. I thought you meant commissioner of the
you
National
threw me
Football
for a minute.
League.
I was about to be commissioner or what?
No.
Okay.
No. USFL.
Yeah.
USFL.
Gotcha.
Look out for that. USFL or even the XFL. I think Tom Brady could have.
Well, for $375 million, he should be doing a hell of a lot more than calling games at the bottom line.
But that's a lot. But Steve,
anything you can think of, he should be doing.
But think about us. Like, if you had, and even if you weren't doing like a cost analysis on what your return on investment would be, if money is not an object for you, Steve Wyche, and you could go into business with anybody. Okay, just think about that. I can go into business with anybody. What's that worth to you? I don't know. One, who is that person? Two, what would you pay for it? So I can see why Fox, looking at it, Fox Sports says,
it makes dollars and cents for them.
I'm going to go into business with them. I don't care what it is. I got it. I don't have to borrow it.
But guys, let's not. We always look at Tom Brady as a quarterback, but Tom Brady is an international star, right? He's been doing advertisements in international magazines for years. I mean, he's known worldwide. Yeah, maybe he's not Ronaldo or Messi, but he's pretty close. And then there's a whole lot of people.
Right. Mike likes that pronunciation.
I'm sorry, Steve. I'm sorry. You had me at advertisement. Don't lose your thought. Do not lose your train of thought. But
advertisements?
No, advertisement. It's advertisement. No, you're right. We say it right. It's advertisement.
Correct.
Thank you for that. Thank you. It is not advertisement. I get so tired of arguing with people about the pronunciation of advertisement, and it just did my heart proud to hear you do that just now. You were saying, Steve Wyche.
Yeah, but look, there's a lot of people who also, again, people who roll in the dough. This is all about the money. Not what's being paid to Tom Brady, but what he can bring in. people who roll in the dough who just want to be around him. If Tom Brady says, hey, look, Fox, I can bring these film producers to you who you have not been able to get, or whomever, or I get Peyton Manning in here, every other week. Oh my gosh, you can do that. I just want to be around him. And then the money starts rolling in. So again, there will be a significant return on investment just because of the brand that is Tom Brady and the person that is Tom Brady.
No, 100%. The dude's an icon. He's long since transcended just being an athlete. How big of a deal? I'll ask this to both of you guys. Michael, you and I haven't really talked about this, but I guess tomorrow's a big national holiday. The schedule comes out tomorrow. And I know Steve, it's a big deal. I don't mean to diminish it, especially not to a representative of NFL Network. But how and why has the schedule become such a big deal? Is it our insatiable year-round appetite for all things football, or is it the process of the schedule itself? I see articles and a lot of headlines and analysis about how they put together the schedule. It's meaningless other than the fans making travel plans. It's for the most part meaningless because we don't know.
It's amazing. It's amazing because the NFL, you talk about just brilliant, right? So the release tomorrow is going to be a 3-hour broadcast when all it is a press release. It is a press release.
That could have been an email.
Think about it.
It's why we meet?
Think about it.
That could have been an email. Why we got to be on Zoom?
It could be, but there's going to be so much attention paid to this, just like the draft. The draft is no more than somebody stepping up to a podium, calling someone's name, and then getting a 30-minute reaction shot. Yet it's one of the most visible. It's one of the most visible things.
Don't slander the draft now, Steve. Hold on.
No. I think it's incredible. Here's why the draft is incredible. It's the one time a year where you fuse collegiate football fans and NFL fans. Where's my favorite college player going, and who's going to come rescue our team from this and that, right? So that's what the schedule kind of is too, because building off the draft, oh wow, I'm going to be able to come see Garrett Wilson do his thing with Jameis Winston on these dates, right? I'm going to, Packer fans, how am I going to be able to go take over? Packer fans, Steelers fans take over every stadium in the NFL. Okay, what ticket brokers do I call? How do I get there? Like you said, that type of planning. This is a huge deal, man. People book events around this stuff. And if you're going to have fall weddings, right, if you're going to have fall weddings and things like that, I am not joking. This is how sick we are. People look for bye weeks to do this stuff. So, that's great. It's crazy, but that's how it is. So that's how big of a deal this is.
I got to stop thinking like a reporter. I got to start thinking like a fan, man.
Hey,
they set their lives revolve around this.
Think like a reporter. Think like a reporter, because you know what this is? You know what the NFL has mastered, and this is great for us in this business? The NFL has mastered storytelling. This is what it is. Like the draft, Steve just broke it down brilliantly. Really, it's college football meaning
which I never said. Of all the things I've ever said about the draft, that's the one I've never thought about that point, that it brings those two together. That's perfect.
Now, more cynically, Doc Johnson, Jason Johnson said last week, he was like, I can't believe all these people went to Vegas for the draft. It's essentially reading the phone book. That's what he said, just reading the phone book. But this is what the NFL has done. The NFL has told a story about the draft, and this is about possibility, and this is about hope, and look, one day these guys could wind up in Canton, and one day it could be like this. And the same thing with the schedule. It's telling a story because everybody will do this tomorrow. Even if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars, so you're a Jaguars fan, you look at the schedule. Oh, we can win that game. Oh, we got a good.
Well, that's what I have a problem with, Steve. That's what I got a problem with.
Our schedule's not even. And I know it's totally wrong.
It's not the interest in the schedule. It's not right. It's not the interest in the schedule. It's not the release of the schedule. It's not the logistics around the schedule. It is the analysis of the schedule. I would love, just like draft grades, I would love to go back and find all the people who predict 10 wins or 6 wins
12-5.
Based on the release of the schedule in May. Talk about who has a tough schedule. How the hell we know? We go a little too far with the reaction to the schedule. It's NFL, it's football. We're crackheads. I get it, but we don't have to start prognosticating based off the schedule release.
Well, here's the other thing. What we went to the AFC Championship last year. How come we only have 3 primetime games? and this team who didn't make it as far as us, the Steelers who didn't make it as far as us, how come they have 5? So that that's also part of the reaction. But guys, let me ask you this, because you talked about looking at the schedule releases as a reporter. Okay, we all were longtime NBA beat guys. When the schedule came out, what were the first 2 things we looked at? When is the team going to Miami? And we're old enough to remember. And we're old enough to remember, when is the team going to Vancouver?
Oh yeah,
right.
Vancouver.
Remember? We were all like, Miami and Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have off days on one side or the other, and let's go ahead and book that travel now.
That's it.
Well, but you're right about the storytelling, though, Michael, because now, especially coming off this off season, I was trying to pump the brakes a little bit, but the hype this off season is more justified than ever, given all the player movement we saw, given all the reunions. I mean, they leaked what is Christmas is. It's Russell Wilson in Denver, which against the Rams, which means something different than it would have otherwise meant. Yeah, so it's just. A lot of these players have moved to different teams. There's much more excitement and intrigue around the league in an offseason than I can recall. So the schedule hype is following suit, I guess, Michael.
I do want to ask you, and both of you on this one, how did you feel when you saw not only that game, Broncos-Rams, which is a great game, theoretically a great game, if they are what we think they're supposed to be, but then you've got NBA games on Christmas, and you got NFL on Christmas. How did you? Because that got me going a little bit. How did you guys feel about it when you saw that officially it's going to be a Christmas football game?
Yeah, I felt bad for the NBA because we know this is how it's going to work. People are going to say, "Okay, we've got 60 games from Christmas on to catch up to the NBA." People watch NFL. I mean, I'm not saying that being arrogant or whatever,
right.
Or if you can fit in. You can flip, during commercial breaks or whatever, but people are going to watch the NFL. I mean, and the NFL knows it for years. They've tried not to have conflicts with other major sports leagues or other, the college football playoffs and things like that. But the fact this is happening and the fact that, the NBA plays 82 games and the NFL plays 17, folks are going to watch the NFL on Christmas.
Well, the NBA had that space to itself for such a long time. They probably got comfortable. Like, hey, I can't believe it. NFL is not trying to get in on this.
No. It's TV. It's TV.
The stakes are also much higher too. It's kind of, but it's also kind of unfair because December football means more. Even though Christmas Day is the unofficial, second opening night or opening day of the NBA. Like you just said, Steve. See, they got another 50, 60 games after Christmas to really get invested in the NBA if you aren't already. Christmas in basketball doesn't mean the same as, the stakes and the playoff seedings and the standings that it's going to mean come December in the NFL. The other thing that doesn't mean anything to the bottom line is investigation and scandal. It's been a couple of days since the Raiders team president stepped down after whistleblowing accusations against team owner Mark Davis of inappropriate contact toward female employees. What's the latest you're hearing on that, if anything? I know the league says they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. I have heard nothing about it. Now, I do think the league's going to investigate this. Just right now, it's not a great, we've never seen owners get hit like we've seen over the past, couple months in terms of, the Brian Flores thing with Stephen Ross. We know Daniel Snyder has been out there. So now this kind of adds these accusations. You get Mark Davis coming by Dan Ventrelli, who says he got fired because he reported these to the NFL. I mean, that's serious stuff because these are very negative and serious allegations. Plus, you're also talking about taking, retribution acts against a whistleblower. So, we'll see what comes out of this. But right now, the NFL, normally it's investigating players and that type of behavior. The fact that it has to investigate its own, because the NFL has a league office in New York, but the NFL has 32 owners. So how hard are they actually going to go after their fellow owners? Are they going to be subjective in who they go after? Are they going to go after Mark Davis harder than Daniel Snyder? It's going to be very interesting based on these allegations and what the fact finding is, and if there is any discipline, and if so, what? Because when it comes to owners, the only time we've really seen an owner get taken down is when Donald Sterling was forced to sell the Clippers.
Yeah, does it make you a little curious about the process when you see the NFL? Like Hugh Jackson came out in February. So the Brian Flores lawsuit was February, it was the beginning of Black History Month, right? It wasn't February 1st. He hits us with this lawsuit, talks about the unfair hiring practices in the NFL. Hugh Jackson, I think the same day or the next day, goes on and says, hey, yeah, you know what? That happened to me too. Yeah, they incentivize losing. So that was in February, and they already got an investigation on that. They gave you analysis on that already. Why haven't we heard anything about Stephen Ross? I mean, that was part of the lawsuit as well.
Well, I will say that Stephen Ross is going through far more different legal channels. I mean, there's still a lot of fact-finding and everything going on right there. There's a lot more lawyers involved and things like that. So you're going through that fact-finding process. I don't know. Frankly, I don't want to rush decision on anything this serious. You know, I think there's something where you need to get all of the facts. And if Brian Flores and he has other people who will validate or have similar stories, what he is charging, all of them should be spoken with, and they should have all of the facts. So when they are presented, whether in a court of law or in the court of other owners and disciplining another owner, there is evidence that says this is legitimate stuff. It's not just hearsay, because we just talked about, we don't know how hard they judge each other. We don't, you know, we know a lot of things take place in private with these discussions or arbitration with these discussions and not in an open court. So hopefully these things are very thorough. And I say hopefully because, frankly, we just don't know. And again, when it comes to some of these big issues, we've seen sweeping subjective decisions. Like, you know, Sean Payton gets set down for a year for the Bounty Gate stuff. Tom Brady gets suspended for deflating air out of footballs. You know, when you have accusations as strong as some of these are, you know, what could the potential discipline be? Because the accusations aren't against players. These are against owners.
Steve Wyche, we appreciate you, man. Hey, happy schedule release, brother. Enjoy happy schedule release eve. Enjoy the next 2 days.
Yeah, you too, Jets. Have a ball.
They won't even give you a minute off, man. You just get through the draft. Now you got to do the schedule. Next thing you know, it's gonna be training camp. Hey,
that's all good. That's why we're in this business, man. There's 50 billion people who really want to do what we do, so no complaining.
No doubt.
That's right.
Take it easy, man. Thank you.
You got it, guys.
All right, Steve. Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.